To another, hopefully you can hear me. Welcome to another fun-filled Sunday of this here Pulp Cthulhu Project Athena. It was brought to my attention that normally I start these off a bit like a smartass. So I thought I'd tone it down a bit, as this is potentially the season finale Project Athena. So I would like to simply say, let's say hello to the cast. And let's start with Allison. Allison?
You blew my spec, Greg. I have no idea what to do now. I'm just totally at a loss. Hey, everybody, it's Allison. I play Caitlin Jane O'Callahan, aviatrix extraordinaire, princess of the skies, America's flying sweetheart. And if I can just get through the next couple of hours without hallucinating, I don't know, old boyfriends or something, I think I might be okay. We'll see.
We certainly shall. We certainly shall. And to continue with this, a very neutral, the traditional cold opening, Lauren, welcome. Tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm Lauren. I'm that salty ginger on Twitter, and I've never been sarcastic a day in my life. I play Miss Sabella Ives, a Ives esoteric and antiquarian bookstore. I keep forgetting to mention that she's a psychic. By the way, she's a psychic. And if I survive the next 5 minutes, which I think I have a good chance of as its introductions, I think me and Greg will still be friends when all of this is over.
I certainly hope so, because this is the professional introduction that everyone has really been looking forward to. Stephen, how are you doing this evening, kind sir?
How are you doing, kind sir, as well? Hi, Steve Nelson playing Dwight Burke, sniper. He is ready for action, and we are definitely in the thick of things. I'm hoping we can get the hell out of this place, that's for sure.
Well, we'll see, but let's watch that language. Strider, how was your evening? And welcome to Pulp Cthulhu.
Dude, I'm not doing this without a juicy segue. Where's my segue, man?
Speaking about hell, here's Strider. Strider, how is your evening?
Hey, what's up, man? I am playing a number of characters right now, mostly Elijah, hopefully. Don't worry, it's just one person. But Elijah's psyche was splintered at the very end of last episode, and he started yelling in all kinds of voices to his Rough Rider compatriots, to the strangers around him, and it seems as though he's having a hard time. So I am excited to yell at everyone and use silly voices. It's going to be a good game.
I hope he makes it. Lindy, how's Greta, and how are you this evening?
I'm doing super spiffy. You know, favorite part about Sundays is this part. Playing Cthulhu with all of you lovely, wonderful people. Greta she's had a heyday, but just skipping through this horror of dead bodies and plague like it's a theme park. She's having a great time. Really wants to start researching some stuff and figuring out what's causing this plague so that she can take all the credit for, curing it, because she's a scientist. But yeah, also unhappy. That's a better word. I'm terrified. She's unhappy about this whole child thing. Kids. So yeah.
Well, that's great. I'm sorry that she is unhappy.
Greg doesn't want anyone to be unhappy.
Not at all,
Yeah,
because
right.
this is Cthulhu, the feel-good RPG.
This is actually terrifying. Could we please have the smartass Greg back right now? Thank you.
Sure. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go through this really quick because we have a lot to get to, because this is in all likelihood the season finale of Pulp Cthulhu Project Athena. But the first thing I want to say is, if you want to help these people, look below, figure out how to do it. The next thing that I want to tell you about is a very, very brief recap. Time, welcome to the party, pal. The brief recap is as follows. Borneo, there's a plague going on. Someone's infected. They were in a truck. Something big was chasing them. Shot the thing that was chasing them. Threw dynamite at it. Ended the episode. Strider, I'm going to kill Elijah. Just so you know that, bud. Okay, so
I didn't know you were watching me. You're not supposed to
I'm
do
always, yes, I know. You've been mimicking me, which is flattering, and I would too if I were not me. But here we are. We're going to get into it. To set the scene up, everybody is traveling in a Model A Ford that's traveling at an impressive speed of around, we'll give it 28 miles an hour, uphill in the wilds of Borneo, and probably the only cut path or road that leads up this mountain. They are on their way from the village to a survey camp run by Caduceus, which is also an aid camp that was sent there, presumably to help with the plague, or as just straight missionary work. As they were driving, a huge creature, which looks a lot like, and I'll put this up here for everybody that's looking at home, this big old bad boy came out of nowhere and started attacking. The sniper Dwight Burke stood up and with his machine gun threw down some super duper pain into this thing. However, it was still coming. All the while, their driver, one Kate O'Callahan, was experiencing hallucinations. She was seeing her former partner, her former lover, her friend, Jack Parsons, as he would appear to her intermittently as presumably her contagion with the yellow plague became worse. As she was able to expertly maneuver the truck further up the hill, came into the shattered mind of Elijah Sawyer, who mechanically has experienced a tremendous amount of sanity loss. His collective decided, what a great idea. We've been carrying dynamite. Time we use it. So he lit it, did his best Mr. Burns throw, which landed about 2 feet away from him in the back of the truck bed. And Greta Von Krause grabbed it and hurled it like Joe Montana into the maw of the trailing creature. In the cab of the truck, Jack Parsons, visible to only Kate O'Callahan, turned to Kate and said, I think they got it. And that, my friends, is where we are starting this, perhaps the final episode of Project Athena. What I would like to ask you all is the following. You have 1 second to do something. If there is anything anybody would like to do, please let me know now.
Elijah turns around, branches flying overhead, balancing, teetering on the tailgate of this truck, and points behind him at the monster and yells, 7! I'm not sure if that's actually the 7th thing killed, but he's going to try to convince you all it is.
Is Elijah standing in the bed?
He identified his narrative as standing on the tailgate and screaming 7 while pointing. What is everyone else doing?
I'm grabbing my coat and like flipping it over me, so if it gets splattered, it's not gonna get on me. I think I said that last week is what I was doing after I throw it. Just throwing it and then duck and cover.
Your indestructible lab coat? Okay.
It's not indestructible, but at least it won't get gore on me. And maybe duck behind somebody else.
Okay, Greta has crouched down and has done what won't come into vogue for a couple decades yet, but she is doing the duck and cover.
Yeah.
What is everyone else doing?
I mean, I think a version of the same, although I'd like to, if he'll let me, help Elijah do that. I mean, I know you don't like me touching you, but I'd like to get him not just standing.
He's blocking some of the I'm fine. No, I'm kidding.
You want to pull him down?
Dwight's going to grab who's the closest person to him, and he's already seen the dynamite. He's going to grab whoever he can and pull him down.
Yeah, I think that's what we want to do.
And the kid's already down because he's sleepy.
Yeah.
He's not going to put up a fight. You guys can just throw him down on the
ground. He's going to grab whoever he can. Who's the closest person he's to?
Well, the only person that's standing, I'm assuming, unless the narrative has changed, Sabella's down in the bed of the truck.
He's gonna grab Cy Young over here and pull him down.
Okay, I would like the 2 of you to both roll dex checks for me, while Kate and Sabella tell me definitively what they are doing in the last second before I do something.
Go ahead, Lauren.
Stream.
Why me? Okay.
I only got a hard.
No. It's not this kind of party.
Where's the kid? The kid's lying down unconscious in the bed too.
Yeah, he's still out.
Yeah. I mean, duck and cover seems like the best thing to do in this situation as far as from what I know of what's going on. So I think I will duck and cover near the kid.
Okay, are you going to like do the I'm going to protect you with my body duck and cover, or are you just kind of laying in the bed beside him?
My instinct was to protect him.
Okay,
So,
that's just what I'm asking. There's no right or wrong answer to any of this, okay?
I know, Greg.
Such good protective instincts.
I know.
So much better than Greta.
Yeah.
Right. Okay,
Yeah.
so Kate, what are you doing?
Kate is going to keep the pedal right to the floorboards and keep the truck on the road and try to get as far away as we can. Because she's done the calculations in her head, see, and she knows that she can get far enough ahead. I know you've seen it all. That's what I'm doing.
Right, yes. There was a beautiful mind type equation that I saw that was incredibly, I thought it was awesome. But everybody is where they need to be, correct? You've said your piece. May God have mercy on your souls.
Sweet, but as far back in the truck as with as many people between me and the explosion as possible, docked and covered. That's exactly, yep.
Okay, so what happens in the second that follows is the following. There is a pop, but it is incredibly muffled. Everyone is, I guess, expecting perhaps a blast of some sort. You are all floating, frozen in midair, over the truck, which is flipping end over end farther down the road. Kate is also floating beside you all. Everyone is, oh my gosh. Hold on a second, everybody. I need to figure out what's going on with this. Summer just did something crazy. Everybody gets a crit success from Summer, who has dropped the hammer on crit successes. In fact, I believe according to everything, that's 2, isn't it, Summer? Because everyone gets 2 critical successes,
Wow.
courtesy of Summer. Summer, I guess, thank you.
6 of them.
Yep.
I need my thing there next to me. Thank you. Whoever Summer is, thank you.
Summer, you're my best streaming friend. Best
Okay.
buds.
I need to know her.
So here's how it happens, everybody. The truck, as if it just simply passed through you all, clatters down the road, end over end, as if caught in a massive explosion, something far greater than a single stick of dynamite. And as it crashes through and just disappears off into the underbrush, there's no explosion, as Mythbusters has taught us. It just simply comes to rest. And the rest of you are floating in a purple field of some kind. And as you are able to slowly turn your heads as if you are underwater, but not necessarily water, it's a thicker liquid, something maybe with the consistency of a jello or of some type of cream, as you turn and move your heads back towards the position of the creature, or perhaps some of you are still looking in that direction. As the creature is no longer there, instead you see what looks like a jagged tear. Just a swipe through the air of Borneo, crisscrossing like a lightning bolt that is intersected in an X. And as it sits there, there is air that seems to be rushing into it, and this creamy purple liquid seems to be rushing out. Now, it's not filling the space. It's not encompassing, a 50 by 50 foot cube, but it seems to have gathered around you, the closest organic objects. And as it is floating around you all, I would like you all to do the following. I would like you all to roll power checks for me, please. And the following's going to happen. The power checks that you roll for anybody that's not named Sabella Ives must be extreme.
Can I use a crit?
Yeah, you can, because Summer just gave you guys a shit ton of them.
I'm going to use one of my 6.
I did not get an extreme success
It
on my
has
end.
to be extreme.
It sure
Can
does.
I roll first?
Nope.
Nope.
You guys are packing some crits, and from now on, you got to call them before you roll them.
All right, I'm calling it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna use a crit too.
Thank you, Summer.
Yeah, thanks, Summer.
Okay, so here is what happens. As Greta and Dwight are staring and looking at this thing, they can feel an invasion into their mind, their presence, their ability to construct themselves physically and mentally. And as they are standing there looking at this opening, this tear, this rift that has been created in the air, they are able to kind of separate themselves, and with both a physical and a mental act, they push themselves out. D-Man the Great, welcome to the party, pal. They push themselves out of this purple fluid, smash the 5 feet to the ground, and drop unconscious. Now the rest of you, Elijah, Kate, Bali, and Sabella, you remain floating there. Sabella, you did succeed on your power check, correct?
Yeah.
You see your two compatriots, Dwight and Greta, drop free and crash back down to the Borneo earth, lying, not wet, not covered in a purple slime as would be expected, perfectly dry but unconscious. They are not moving at all. You're unsure as to whether or not how bad they're hurt, but you're not really paying particular attention to them because you are looking at Kate, Elijah, and the boy as they seem to be coming apart. As you see them pixelating and beginning to drift and spread, as you see their very construction, the very idea of Kate, Elijah, and the boy seeming to be forgotten. Sabella, there's something in your mind, something that we talked about a long time ago when a man that none of these other people have met named Ezra died. And it is a red haze, a power that seems to rest just beyond your perception, just above the level where you normally construct your thoughts. You feel it there. And while before it struck you with this destructive power, this ability to end something, you feel that you can do something here, that you can perhaps keep the thought of Kate and Elijah and the boy remembered. And so what I want you to do is, I would like you to roll a power check. With these power checks, I am going to give you a choice. But I need you to first roll one and tell me who you're rolling this power check for.
And you want me to roll it?
Yep.
So you don't want me to use any crits?
No, you can.
Okay.
If you want to use crits, but I need you to tell me who it's
Yeah.
for, and you're telling me a crit before you do any rolls. All crits must be announced before you roll.
Yeah. Just wanted to make sure that I could use them. Nat 20 on Kate.
Okay. So with the initial burst of this red haze that comes from the back of your mind, this singular focus that seems to drift down, that in a way has the glow of a fire, of a heat, but in many ways has the presence and the shape of the eye of your grandfather. Comforting, believable. And as you focus and as you look out at Kate, this eye, this power helps you to focus, and you see the form of Kate O'Callahan, America's flying sweetheart, coalesce and begin to become more defined as she drops free of the purple liquid and clatters to the ground beside Dwight and Greta. I would like you to roll a D3 for me, please.
Okay. 2.
You lose 2 hit points.
Great.
Okay.
Cool.
I would like you to make another power check and tell me who this one's for.
Oh, Summer, you know what's amazing is I had 1 in store and you gave me 2. Nat 20 on Elijah.
Okay. Again, the eye, the presence reaches out, and you see Elijah as he is spread a bit further than Kate has, becoming more blurred, becoming less of the Elijah Sawyer that you had come to know. And with one concentration, it pulls back together, and Elijah drops free as a stream of blood begins to trickle out of both of your nostrils and your left ear. I would like you to roll a D3 for me, please.
3.
Okay, you've lost 3 hit points.
Great.
The last floating above you is the boy, the one that has just lost his parents, one that you've just recently met, though. What would you like to do?
Not 20 on Bali.
Okay, so with a presence of mind that is singular on this, the planet Earth, you fight through the situation. You fight through the scene, the insanity that only you are truly witnessing here, as Bali coalesces and pulls free and drops to the ground. I'd like you to roll a d3 for me, please.
1.
Okay, that's 1 more hit point.
Yep.
It is at this moment that you realize, as you look down, you yourself have become a cloud. You, in your rush to save your fellow Olympians, to save the boy, you have spread and become less corporeal than any of them that you had seen before. I need you to roll a power check.
Yep. Regular success.
Okay. So this time, with blood now trickling from both nostrils, both ears, both eyes, as they begin to fill with the bloodshot, the crimson mask and hue of someone that shouldn't be able to do this. That no being on earth born of this soil should be able to do this. But you do. And the creature that had become Cloud, that once was Sabella Ives. Thorbrand, buddy. Just made a, let's see what this is before I go forward. Thor, tell me what you want, buddy, in chat. So as you were once Cloud and you coalesce back into the feeling, the person, the thought, the very memory of Sabella Ives, you fall forward, but the stress was not as pure, it was not as focused as it was with the other 3. I need you to roll a d9.
3.
3 more hit points as you drop to the ground and fall unconscious. As the entire Olympians are now lying on the ground in the dirt outside of a specific port station, a seaport in Borneo, they sleep. Elijah, as you are standing there, you are on the streets of Manhattan. You are confident in your best attire, whatever that may be. And as you stand there and look around, you feel one of self. No longer are the voices fighting you, but you are in a crowd. And it is a busy Manhattan change of shift, people going home for the evening. Perhaps it's downtown, maybe you're closer to the financial district. As people are bustling past you, you even see a military man walk by. And you see that the name on the brass plate on his chest is Chrysanthemum. And you see a couple, maybe a shady fellow here, you know. But you see all these people, and maybe peripherally you identify them for what they are, as fragments of yourself. And as they kind of meander, not just one General Chrysanthemum, not just one derelict, but dozens and dozens. But there only is one Strider, only one Elijah Sawyer, as he stands amidst the chaos that is the mind that has come to betray him. But as these personas float away from both player and character, there's one that's standing there alone that you know for sure is not of your construction, Ruby Foster. And she rushes up to you. She is thin, she is angled, she has when you saw her before and believed her dehydrated, she has become even more so. She looks like a skeleton with just her dark skin pulled across. It's paper thin. You can see her veins. You can see the muscularity. And she runs up to you and she puts her hands on you and cradles you. And it's only then you realize you're lying on the sidewalk. And there are tears streaming down her face as she looks all around at all the people, and she keeps saying over and over again, "Oh, you're hurt. Oh, you're hurt." And she just keeps rocking back and forth with you, your head, as she runs her fingers through your hair. as she just keeps saying, oh, you're hurt, Mr. Sawyer. And she looks down at you, but you can't focus. Your eyes are starting to worsen, as if you are in desperate need of a pair of corrective spectacles, or you're so tired. And as she looks down and she sees you, she looks around, and perhaps you're able to focus on one last thing, and you see all of the others, the chrysanthemums, the Lex, the jean jackets, are kneeling, facing their creator as he begins to expire. And as Ruby rocks you, and she says, no, you see her stop, and she lies you down on her lap. You feel the bones beneath your own shoulders as she puts her hands together, and you see the skin get even ashier. It gets even, the hair begins to thin as a golden ball, a glow, appears between her hands as she starts to shake, and you notice that there is blood mixed with sweat as she constructs what looks like a perfect sphere of gold. And she looks down, and for a moment, as your eyes are losing focus, she jams it into your forehead, and she smiles, and she says, that's me. I'd like you to roll a d20 for me, Strider. Just in
How
case.
is a 1?
I want you to roll another d20.
If I ever mentioned Roll20 hates me. 18.
You regain 19 sanity as Ruby Foster gives to you what she has left. And you see her as you are awakening, as your eyes narrow. All of the constructs, Jean Jacket, Chrysanthemum, Derelict, they all nod as one with a smile on their face and begin to vanish as they return from whence they came, until just you and Ruby are alone in maybe the Lower East Side. And she sits there, and you see just how close she is, and she smiles and she says, thank you, Mr. Sawyer. And she too disappears. You wake up. You are surrounded by the fallen forms of the Olympians, and the sun is low in the sky.
Masterfully written, Greg.
What would you like to do, my friend?
Elijah pops up to his feet if he can walk. Checks himself, makes sure his gloves are on, looks at his party, takes in his surroundings, and contemplates for just a moment leaving. They're being hunted, lying on the ground here. They would be a nice distraction while he gets out of here. Maybe he can even find Ruby in a way out. And arguing with himself, this time just his own voice, says he owes Ruby more than that, and he's going to run over, if he can find Kate, and do whatever he can to try to wake her up.
Are you going to touch her?
Yeah.
Okay, I would like Kate to roll a Constitution check for me, please.
Well, thankfully, Slayer has gloves on.
Always.
It's always gloved.
Fail the con check.
Okay, she does not wake up.
He smacks her around a bit, and if that's not going to work, he's going to run over to Greta. She'd probably know how to wake people up.
Okay.
And yeah, again, doing his best, shaking, smacking, yelling.
To be clear, touching her with the gloves that you just touched Kate with?
Yeah, he's not thinking about that kind of stuff, yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Greta, roll a con check for me, please.
Okay. Oh my god, nope, I'm a sleepy doctor.
2 down. 2 still asleep.
What the hell is going on? Okay,
I'm really bad at waking people up, so
there's no one around. He lets his southern accent drop. What the fuck is going on? Okay, Soldier Boy, he can help me carry them. Yeah. And he runs over, drops down, starts shaking him. Dwight, wake up!
Con check for Dwight.
Son of a bitch. Come on, man.
Okay, for the first time, you have a pair of responsive eyes as Dwight's flicker open as he shakes his head, and Dwight, you are awake, staring into the face of Elijah Sawyer.
What the fuck?
Morning bugle, lad. Time to get up.
What the hell just happened? Yeah, Dwight's kind of like, he has no clue what's going on here. You know, he's completely disoriented.
Oh, friend, we were in the back of a Jeep and some kind of monster jumped out at us, and that is where my recollection of the events that conspired disappears. However, I do know the sun is low in the sky, we are being hunted, and I cannot wake our compatriots. So, Call of Duty. Wake up, friend.
You know, Dwight kind of shakes his head. And, son of a bitch, this fucking thing. God damn it.
Okay, so
does he remember what happened? So I'm trying to say.
I'm sure that's in character. He's probably cussing as he's.
Right.
Yes, he's definitely cussing. Does he remember Mr. Keeper?
Does he remember
like
what?
A purple cloud and?
Oh yeah, you remember everything. You remember falling free of it and passing out.
Okay, so we need to wake these people up quickly. You know, we're definitely get everybody up. That's our goal here.
You try the doctor and the captain. I will try to get Sabella awake.
Okay.
And that is what we do.
Okay, so what we're going to say is after a good 15, 20 minutes, you're able to rouse everyone. It takes about that long for you all to kind of collectively come to the point where you might be in a position to stand, perhaps travel. Bali is awoken. He seems to be free of the effects of the child-sized morphine that was given to him last time.
Which was expertly administered while pinning him down.
That's right. He's not dead. So yes, he's all right.
He's not dead and not a cloud. Isn't that nice?
I'd like you all to roll listen checks for me, please.
Okay. Oh boy.
Hard success.
I got close, but no cigar.
Success for Kate as well.
I'm just looking around at everyone and going, okay, yes, that's where that part of your face goes. And yes, your eye has always been that color.
And Elijah's touching you with his gloves and being way more touchy than normal. Grabbing you by your shoulders, making sure you're up on your feet.
Hi.
Okay. Also, I would let you know that Thor gave you a crit, Strider, so you have another crit in which to bust out should you need it. Now, for the two that were listening, or perhaps a bit focused more than the others as they were coming awake, so it was Kate and Dwight, or not Kate and who was the other successful hearing person? Elijah. Kate and Elijah, as you all are standing there in the distance, far down the mountainside, you hear a horn as it erupts. It's answered by several other horns as they're all over the base in the valley. And someone might want to check a watch if they haven't.
Yeah, Kate does check her chronograph.
I just impulsively check the pocket watch, and then I'm like, wait, no, that's not. It's a toy.
Mm-hmm. Do you check the pocket watch?
Yeah, I just said I did.
You check it. You like pop it open just to take a look at it.
Uh-huh.
When you pop open the watch, it is showing gears and what looks like a three-dimensional spin of the inside of a watch filled with the same purple space that you were just recently floating in. And when you clip it shut, the three-dimensional space, much like a pop-up book, disappears back into the watch.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that looks at a normal watch will see that it is now exactly 6 hours after you have left one Philip Lancaster.
How much daylight is left?
You've got about an hour, maybe 2.
We should get going.
Yeah, I think you're right, Doctor.
Last one's gain. Greta's just gonna start, like, you know, she's gonna check over the kid, make sure he's uninjured, real quick. Are you well? You good? Thumbs up. Oh, and I show him
The drawing.
the drawing. So true.
We did that.
Right, he looks, and remind me again what the drawing said. It was to
They were
describe
like we're friends. The guy you knew was like
was a
turned into
monster.
a monster and attacked us. And
Draw
that
Ruby.
we're gonna save Ruby.
Okay,
Oh, and I
right.
draw a hexagon.
Yeah, and
I do that.
my pictures turned out really well.
Yeah, she was real good at
I
drawing.
was really good at drawing.
Right, yes. Yeah, I remember you had a really good role with that. Okay, so it takes just a few minutes, and we'll say this is part of the waking up process
yeah,
for
okay.
everybody, so I'm not going to add any more time onto this. This is before the horns have gone off. You're able to convince him that what happened was, in fact, not the person that he knew, and he accepts it more to the point where he's just in such a state of shock
Well,
from
that is
losing his
good. Shock
parents.
works for us on our benefit on this
It works in...
our favor.
Yeah,
Perfect.
it's... Okay, so...
The last one's game.
Yes, you guys want to head on up the mountain, correct?
And our car is not
Yeah,
very good,
Elijah
right?
has a few things to say once they start getting trekking down the road too.
As we're getting ready to move, Kate kind of turns around and looks at everyone and says, "Now, look, y'all, we don't have a whole lot of time, and they are coming. Mr. Burke, I want you to keep your eye open for some good ambush opportunities. It may very well be that we need to leave you behind to slow them down while we find Ruby. So keep your eyes open, see what you can find."
I've already done that, apparently, right? Correct?
Yeah, but that was much farther down the hill.
Do you need me to start making spot hiddens?
Yeah, but just tell me if you get what your highest roll is whenever I ask for it. So if you want to roll them, go ahead. Give me 3, as you guys are now pressing on towards the Caduceus aid station, correct?
Full speed ahead.
All right.
That's
and
right.
Everybody that's sitting around, I will show you. Let me see. The quarantine map, the Borneo
Katie,
map.
I like you so much better when you're not a clown.
Yeah, I kind of do too, Miss
Yeah.
Abs. Thank you.
Okay, so as you guys are moving up, Elijah, you had something you wanted to say to everyone.
As we get marching and we're actually making progress down the road, of course. Now, I don't know about fighting monsters. That is not my area of expertise. But what I do know, friends, is people. And our little Lancaster friend back there reminds me of a story my grandpappy told me. Mountain lions, friends, they have no, they're on the top of the food chain. They have no natural predators. And what you do when you run into one is make a whole hell of a lot of ruckus, yell and throw rocks, and they're not used to it. They run away. Now, stick with me here. I know he's not going to run away if we throw rocks at him. But what I am saying is he is used to being on top of the food chain. He is expecting finding prey. So my suggestion would be to hunt the hunter. Now, what do every good hunting party need? Live bait. he was able to catch up to that woman and kill her in 1 hour. I believe he can move ground very, very quickly. He'll be here in a matter of moments, most likely. So, thinking it over my massive, fantastic brain thinking powers, I have deduced that the best live bait would be myself.
Now or later, before we get Ruby or after we get Ruby? Because we've still got Kate, and we need to fix her.
What?
Yeah,
Anyway,
potentially.
Sabella,
Probably.
Captain, Doctor, I think Ruby should definitely be all of your top priority. Me and Soldier Boy would be fantastically equipped to slow them down and give you some breathing room.
Well, Mr. Sawyer, I think you might be right about this. I'd prefer to see you take your stand on ground of your own choosing, though, and I'm not sure that this is the right ground for it.
Oh, certainly not. I will accompany you until duty calls me and Soldier Boy away.
Are you sure
Sounds
this
good.
is what? Are you sure this is what you want to do?
No, sir, I never wanted to leave my home in Louisiana. I never wanted to go to Brooklyn. I never wanted to go to Borneo. None of this is what I want to do. But there's a little girl up there that needs our help. And this isn't about what we want. It's about what we need to do.
What about if we could get to her? She's in a cave. I wonder if that would provide some better way of making a stand if it's somewhere. I mean, we don't know what that terrain is like yet. So maybe we just keep going for a bit.
That is my plan, Sabella. You and I are on a wavelength, so to speak.
I like that your mouth is still there and it's not over here. It's better that way.
I am a master with my mouth and my silver tongue, Sabella, and I should hope that it's here.
It is. All right.
As you guys are talking, you round the corner, and there before you is the Caduceus aid station. It appears to be abandoned.
Yeah. Okay. I want to spend, since we see it and it looks abandoned, I know that what I want to do is keep working with Bali, because I don't believe that he told Peter that she went to the aid camp. I feel like he knows where Ruby actually is, and that's the last piece, is we don't know where this cave is. So I want to
Give him the coloring book and crayons.
Yeah, I will absolutely do that. I will absolutely do that.
Or like pencil and paper, but you know.
So that's what I want to do, because I know she's not here.
Okay. Also, I'd like everyone to roll a spot hidden for me, please.
Regular success.
Hard success? What?
Fail. I'm looking for the colors.
I've got my eyes open.
Regular success.
Okay, anybody that rolled a success...
Barely a success.
Anybody that rolled a success, you realize that as you're walking, it becomes I guess an instance of geometry. Normally when people are in different landscapes, they don't recognize anything until you take something away that's normally there. For instance, if you visit the coast and you're from the mountains, it takes a while to realize, oh, that backdrop of the mountains isn't there. That's why I feel so odd. And vice versa. Something very similar is occurring to the people that did notice this. The hard lines of what are normally trees, whether they're pine trees or, the triangles and then the jagged fingers of branches, have given way to much smoother shapes. ovals and spheres, different hard edges, rectangles, maybe even some polyhedron type of shapes, as the vegetation in this area has changed in both shape, color, hue, consistency. Everything seems to have a purplish undertone to it, as if things that were green are now a little bit redder than what they may have been before. The ground itself seems to have a maroon quality to it. There are even fruit trees that are bearing fruit that, if any of you remember, decorated the table of one Philip Lancaster. Very odd shapes, very odd colors. As someone that has been in this area before and perhaps likes to have a little sugar with his meals, this whole area and landscape is changing into something that you are not familiar with. What would everyone else like to do?
Kate looks down at her watch again. How long has it been since I was exposed?
Since you were exposed, we are at several hours now. You are right around, I think a rough estimate would be 3.25.
All right.
Yeah.
So as I'm kind of beginning to take this in, again, my hand goes to my temple. Doctor,
Yeah.
are you seeing this? I mean-
the balloon grounds, the polyhedrals,
Oh, you are then.
circles. Yes, I am fighting the urge to waste time by taking samples of everything.
All right, good. Yeah, thank you. Okay, I just want to make sure I wouldn't hallucinate and all that. All right. I want to keep moving toward the gate as well and get a closer look inside this abandoned camp.
Okay, as you move closer, you see a very smaller version of what had occurred down at the village or the farmhouse. You see that there are bodies arrayed outside of the two main tent structures. They're all covered in linens, though. And they all bear the eye of Caduceus, as if these are perhaps fallen members of the squad that have been interred here or laid to some type of rest.
Do I see any sign of that machine?
I was gonna say, do I see this machine, that beautiful, wonderful, mysterious mystery machine?
There are two tents.
Does one look more medically than the other? Does one look like a medical tent? One looks like a live-in tent?
If you got closer, I'm sure you could tell.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll just have to get closer.
Yeah,
Who's going? Just let me know who's getting closer, guys.
I'm stepping in slowly, serpent gun, of course, at the ready.
Okay. Of the two, I would like whoever of the group, if it's just Greta and Kate, roll me a luck roll, please.
Oh, okay.
What?
That's a success for me.
Fail for me.
Okay, as you walk in and someone's playing the, I hear myself in the background. So if someone's playing the feed, just turn the volume down a bit. Anywho, when you guys walk in, you choose wisely. And before you stands the medical station of Caduceus's aid station. As you look around, you see the following. The space is dominated by a 6-foot by 10-foot machine that appears to be a confusing mass of glass pipes and brass fittings and dials woven through a system of gears with the aforementioned brass apparati everywhere as it kind of just... It's very insane in its design. It seems to have places where you can feed in samples, and much like something that would make Willy Wonka proud, it travels through these pipes and gears and arrives at some type of conclusion, but that would probably be answered in the large tome that is sitting beside it, labeled the instruction manual.
I want to take that.
Okay, I will tell you this mechanically, so you all can decide what you'd like to do. If you give Greta 30 minutes She's going to figure this thing out.
Can I assist?
No. That's assuming that everybody's like helping her out and pointing to things and stuff like that.
Right. Can we, just from a glance, can she assume that this machine is meant to manufacture a cure?
You were told as such before that it was perhaps brought to
There is, and I see like sample intakes and stuff going on there. Okay.
It looks like no machine that you've ever seen for sample or vaccine construction or
So
identification.
fascinating.
It's
Greta's looking a little excited.
So that half hour would require the assistance of every member of the group. Nobody could do anything else?
no one could help. Greta is basically no one can help Greta read.
Okay.
And that's what she's going to have to do. But I mean, you all can do other things and, hasten the process by, making sure that the area is clear and all of that good stuff.
I'd love to see if we can, while we're doing this, if this is what we're going to do, I'd love to see if we can learn more from Bali about where this cave might be.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Okay, so I just need to know this. Are you
If we're
taking the
giving
30
it.
minutes?
Elijah will not be against the idea as long as you take the book out of the obvious medical tent, and maybe Soldier Boy can help us find a safer place, not quite in the middle of the road.
Yeah, if we're gonna be,
Yeah.
I think we
Safer
all,
for you to read it.
yeah, I think we all want to do the 30 minutes, but we know that he knows exactly where we went because we told him where we were going.
Yep.
So he's just beelining here. It's not like he has to really stop and they have to get around the truck, but I don't think it's going to be that hard. But I think that we have to take it. And
Elijah's
so I think,
plan is that you guys should not be near the medical tent. We probably can't move the machine, but you should not be reading in
It's a
there.
very large machine.
And he wants to stage a faux argument and be yelling into the tent or something to make a big scene while you guys are actually elsewhere when he thinks people are showing up.
What is in the other tent?
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Do you want to look?
I want to look. Just a peek.
So Greta's taking a peek into the other tent.
Uh-huh. Then it's a body tent.
Well, sure. Okay, so you open it up and you pull the flap, and it's very dark inside. It is the light is fading from Borneo as we speak, but at the same time, it seems as if this tent was all the flaps are down. Nothing is exposed. The canvas flaps are down. The insect netting has been obscured. There is a bit of a residual glow coming in through certain seams, but you see just masses and shapes inside, but you can't identify anything without a light source.
Do we have torches?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You want to click one on?
Click. This is a terrible idea, but I want to know. Oh dear. Oh
no.
Oh
He
no!
killed the Greta.
What is-
Okay, so as Greta peeks in
It's a
and
bad idea.
clicks on a light and shines it around, you all hear the telltale sound of a pistol go off as one crack, croom, goes off, and you see
Oh.
the white of Greta's lab coat all of a sudden turn crimson as she gets spun around. And roll a constitution check for me, Greta.
Okay. Extreme.
Okay, so Greta spins away and you think
Flesh wound.
and yet you think that she was going down, but as she spins away, you see her actually doing that of her own accord as she almost pirouettes away from the opening, and you see brandished in her hand is whatever weapon she desires as she comes
Yeah,
to rest.
I have a pistol that they gave me from the first place we were at, from the first D-trick. I want to shoot back at whoever shot me.
Sure, I will allow you to make a shot, but this is going to have to be a hard because you are now firing simply at a muzzle flash that you saw
Yep.
in there.
Okay, that's fine. It's better than charging it with a knife or something. Scalpel power. So we'll be like, help! Pew! No, I miss.
Okay, so you return fire inside, and you
And
see it
back
kind
up.
of
Back
Yeah.
up.
The rest of you hear the first shot, and if you don't witness the actual pirouette of Greta Von Krause, you see her pull out her gun and return fire through the tent as the flaps of the tent, correspond with the shot as they kind of snap and sputter as the bullet goes through.
Ow!
And then you don't hear anything else.
He says there was a gun rigged to shoot whoever opens the flap, but there's someone in there. I do not like it.
Did you see who it was?
I saw a muzzle flash.
Can I break free?
Mr. Burke, get over here.
I've been checking attack points like I've been telling Jeech. So, I'm going to, of course I see the doctor get hit and I'm quickly, Thompson is out and he's going to spot hidden if he can.
Yeah, but currently you're not able to see inside the tent as, yeah. And I will let you know that 5 additional minutes have passed with this exploration and gunfire exchange.
Dwight shouts, if you don't come out, I'm going to open fire completely on this tent.
And simultaneously, Doctor, if you're all right, get back in that medical tent and start reading that damn book.
Oh, wait, I can do that. Yep. Can I read?
Let a little shot slow you down, Greta.
Fuck getting shot.
Can I read and pack my wound at the same time?
No.
Okay, I'll just read then, I guess.
I'm covering Dwight from the back.
Dwight just screams, if you do not come out, I will open fire completely on the tent. Come out now.
There is no answer.
Dwight opens fire.
Okay, at this point, I need you to tell me how many, yeah, Mighty Moose. Stop screwing around getting shot and get back to work. Okay, how many rounds are you firing in here? You can do
I'm going to fire
27.
I'm going to fire my whatever you'll give me.
You can fire a full clip, which is 27 for this, the way we're mechanically explaining it.
How many clips do you have?
Don't work.
Can
I get 2 more?
Oh, you're going to let me shoot again?
Are you firing 27 rounds into the tent?
I gave them, how long did I give them to come out?
You said,
However long you wanted.
yeah, you can fire whenever you want. I just need to know what's going on.
I gave them the opportunity. They did not respond. I fired. I'll stop. Does that draw anything out?
How many bullets are you firing?
I'm firing. You can't really an automatic, Cheech. You can't really.
Buddy, this is a
many
mechanical
bullets
thing,
you
and I'm
fire.
telling you that you can fire
I'll
9,
fire
18,
4
27.
if you're giving me. All right, 4.
Okay, boom, boom, boom.
There's a fumble. So I shoot over top.
No, what ends up happening when a fumble is you hear a screech come from the gun, and you're going to have to spend some time to repair this weapon, as you have created a jam in the gun.
How long?
A couple minutes for you.
God damn it, Mr. Burke. I didn't want you to blow the thing up. I just wanted you to figure out what was going on in there. Fix that thing, would you?
Mr. Callahan, they're shooting at us. I'm going to kill anything that shoots at us.
Elijah's going to march into the tent with a flashlight.
Okay. As you walk in, I would like you to roll a spot hidden for me.
That was something dumb, just like a gun rigged to the tent flap opening.
Hard success.
Nice, Sawyer.
Yeah, when you walk in, it appears that whoever was the last person alive had rigged up something that looked like, something that the Marx Brothers would have set up, as it was a string attached to
I knew it.
a stretch stick between the hammer and the trigger, pointed at the main flap. The rest of the things that are in here there's one body that's uncovered by linen. It seems to be an older gentleman in his late 50s. You can't really tell for sure because of the advancement of the Yellow Death. Everything else in here appears to, it looks like what would have been the aid station's bunkhouse. There's a corpse in every bed, but other than that, it seems to have just been simply rigged to offer one last finger gesture towards whoever would be coming in here.
Going to take a quick scan of the place to see if I can see anything I think might be useful in an upcoming fight. But besides that, he'll leave after he does that.
Sure. Is there anything in particular you want to look at? This will give you the time frame that you're looking at for this.
Any obvious weapons or any obvious big things that would explode and make
Exploding
fiery
things
balls of death?
Right. Okay. The aforementioned pistol you can see right away. Go ahead and roll me spot hidden.
Fail.
You don't find anything else. It seems that these people were, in fact, doctors, missionaries, aid workers, and this might have been the only firearm in the camp.
How are me and Bali doing? Because I wasn't part of any of that.
Right. After the gunfire exchange,
Just quiet.
yeah, Bali his eyebrow kind of raises above his very pretty eye as there's a exchange, a shot, a scream. Kate and Dwight yell at one another. There's 4 shots and then what appears to be a malfunction of some kind, some more argument. I would like you
just
to
comforting,
roll.
like, it's okay.
Right. What I want you to roll is
Okay.
I want you to roll an appearance check. And what this is to see how well you're able to get to him.
Everyone trusts the pretty lady.
Success. I'm very pretty.
Appearance is also charisma in this system, not just outright how pretty you are.
But I'm also
Thank you,
very
Strider. Yeah.
Well, that's why it's my
Oh.
lowest stat.
Okay, so it takes you a while, but no longer than it takes Greta. What do you want to know from Bali? What information are you in the order of like 1, 2, 3 are you trying to get from him?
Where let me consult my notes. I think mostly where Ruby is, and I will keep referencing the cave, the hexagon on the sheet, because that's what I think he actually knows. Start with that. That's the first thing I want to do.
So you're trying to have him identify the hexagon, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you this. It doesn't take long before you see the eyes widen as he rushes over, and there's a small kind of a wash that probably would be filled in the rainy season with runoff from the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And on the side of the wash, in the dry dirt that's there, he draws a hexagon, and then he points further up the mountain.
Is there a path or anything? Or is it through the weird plants, Greg?
You can't see one, but he's continuing to gesture further up the mountain.
Great. Perfect. Okay, so...
I can walk and read at the same time if someone just...
And then, like we had the little picture of Ruby, I want to ask again or try to get more information about Claire, because I don't know what he actually told Peter about her. So if I'm drawing like the well or Claire, oh, you have the
test tube.
Yeah, the test tube. To see if I can get any more information about that.
Okay, roll another appearance roll for me, please.
Okay. Success.
Okay, it takes you, if the first one took you about 10 or 15 minutes to kind of get through to him on, this one's a little bit quicker, maybe 10 minutes, as he quickly identifies that the person that you're pointing out with your stick figure hieroglyphics that you're drawing is actually Claire Foster. And when you make a motion like for the test tube and the well, and he figures and identifies all these little pictograms that you're putting up, he shakes his head, and points to Claire, points to the tube, points to the well picture, and then shakes his head.
Claire didn't push it in the well. And finally, I think that's what we need to know about that. I draw Philip Lancaster. and I want to see if he recognizes him, because we can assume that Lancaster came through this area now, or people who looked like him, but Bali's alive. He's just weird.
You draw a pretty good representation of Philip Lancaster, and he doesn't seem to recognize him.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Has Dwight been able to find any good sniper nests around here?
I've sent a message.
I don't see the message that has been sent. Send it again. Yeah, Dwight's been able to find several elevated positions that he could climb up to, tree-wise, especially in these weird-ass, geometrically uncertain foliage and vegetation. This is necessarily the best area, because the whole clearing here seems to be man-made, which makes it pretty much a choke point. But if anybody were to know this area, Dwight would tell you they would avoid it.
Okay.
Dwight wants to find somewhere where he can put his back against the wall, but not a cave, because there's no escape point. He wants somewhere he can indicate if they're coming up toward them up the mountain. He wants to be able to handle that, but not be trapped.
I appreciate your mastery of strategy, Mr. Burke, but yours is not to reason why, as this poem goes.
That was meta.
I'll let you know if you find anything like that. I'll let you know if you find anything like that, Dwight/Steve, but as of right now, there's nothing there. After 30 minutes, Greta, as you are still favoring your side, which is coagulated a bit, but is going to definitely require some stitches, you learn the following.
Ah, yes. Good. What's
in conjunction with the book and the machine, what you now know is the viral analyzer. The viral analyzer has two settings. One is disease determination, and two is treatment options. It seems that the first setting has already concluded and run its course.
Okay.
The information that has been identified here is that it is in fact what they call the Yellow Death. Strange thing about this is that this has been seen before. And you being a medical professional would realize that never in any journal that you've ever read has there ever been any instance of even something that would be considered this type of advanced jaundice or hepatitis occurring anywhere that's ever been recorded. Mm-hmm. You also find out that if left untreated, it will burn out of its own accord in 7 days and no longer be contagious, communicable, anything like that.
Okay.
By your guessing, it looks like they are 4 days into this 7-day structure.
Okay. So 3 days left.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Also, the wording of the Yellow Death and some of the subsequent knowledge that seems to be inside this Caduceus manual also points to it being man-made.
Mm-hmm. Which is what she suspected a little, honestly.
Correct. And it seems that by some of the notes that were taken and kind of stuck inside the book, that Caduceus, whether it would have been the establishment that was there previous or an arrival establishment, was aware before they hit Borneo that this was the Yellow Death. Now, I will also tell you this, that it seems that the viral analyzer is missing a very important secondary component. This component is what is referred to as the periodic pack. The periodic pack appears to be absent, as it is very, very important for stage 2 of the machine's progress. The machine, once identifying a disease, will then, whatever this periodic pack is, will say what exactly is required for both a treatment, vaccine, or cure of the disease in question. They have not begun the second part, but you now believe that if you were to use some of the base components found in the test tube of the actual yellow death into the viral analyzer, within 15 to 30 minutes, you would have a treatment plan that would identify the specific things needed in the periodic pack to create either a treatment, vaccine, or a cure.
Okay, but we need the periodic pack to do so.
Correct, and it is
Okay,
nowhere
it
to
is
be
missing.
found. Mhm.
Okay. I will relay this information to the group, and I'm sure that I probably use a lot of big medical words, and maybe it's not all completely easily understood, but she tries to get it across. We are missing the periodic pack. It is very important. We need it to synthesize a cure. I could probably do it in about 15 to 30 minutes.
If you had that.
If I had it, but it is very important, and it is missing, of course. Curious.
Did you see? I'm sure you didn't, but I don't think anybody saw Claire Foster's body anywhere in here. Maybe she has it.
I've been reading. I haven't seen it.
Well, sure.
Ruby's still alive, and someone had to take her where she is.
I know where
Perhaps-
she is. Or Bali
Perhaps
does,
there's
rather.
More of these people are still alive, or someone had to take her there.
Miss Ives, you know where she is.
Yes, I was talking to Bali. He knows. He knows
Well-
where it is.
Well, where is it?
Oh, and I point in the general direction. Up there.
I believe we should get a scaddle-daddle move on.
I'm just. Do you think that he'll just keep moving through here and he won't stop and do anything here, right?
He is after us.
Okay. Just don't like leaving. Okay, well, Bali can take us.
Is there a picture in the book of the periodic pack? Like a diagram? Nope. Does it describe it at all?
I will tell you this. There appears to be, in the side of the machine of the viral analyzer, a 2 foot by 2 foot cube that is
Okay.
empty space that's unexplained. Now, whether or not that's the periodic pack or where it would fit,
Okay.
but
I'll just be like,
spent
keep
time
an
with
eye
it.
out for something about 2 feet by 2 feet, maybe, or something that would fit in with the general look of the machine. If you see it just by the side of the road while you're going up to the cave, let me know. I'd be very appreciative.
Is
You
it-
can't just take Kate's blood and make something out of that.
No, I need the necessary components to get the this ingenious machine going.
Well, you could still try anyway.
I mean,
Also, Claire did not put that in the well because Peter was a dang dirty needle teeth liar.
interesting. Maybe she has the periodic pack then,
That's what I'm thinking.
hopefully.
That is my least favorite type of liar.
I agree. All right. So, do we just want to go? Is there anything we want to?
So I do not see it in the medical tent, so there's nothing I can do here currently.
We will come back after all is said and done. Whichever ones of us are still alive, that is.
Well, I can roll a spot hidden.
You don't see anything, but this is a very congested area. And like I mentioned in the narrative, it's a man-made clearing. So the dense and now geometrically challenged foliage is kind of pressing in from all sides. But as soon as Sabella points generally up the hill, Bali kind of steps forward, and for the first time you see him actually, showing a little bit of emotion, a little bit of pep as he points up. Oh yeah, oh hi, as he points up the hill.
Yeah, good. Do I need to give
friends
anybody any
now.
more morphine, by the way? How we doing?
I'll take some.
All right, I'll just...
Well, all right, little guy. You seem to know where we're headed. Why
Yes,
don't you lead the way?
Who's taking morphine? And I need the pharmacy constitution checks for everybody when they do it.
Here's a question, Greg. This is
Sure.
a hypothetical question. I'm even scared of letting out into the air. Would morphine hinder me at all?
Oh, you haven't taken
Yeah.
it yet.
I know. That's why I haven't taken it yet.
That's an excellent theory.
How long does the
That's
morphine
big-
last?
Lindy succeeded and I succeeded as well on the morphine
Nice.
checks.
Okay, you've got an advantage on sanity checks from here
I
until
assume
tell
with that weird stuff and us sleeping that it probably wore off.
Hard success.
That weird
well,
stuff
let
where
me-
people were purple clouds.
Yeah. You guys are both morphined up.
Okay, so after mainlining some good opiates, you guys are, by the treatment of your physician has gotten you high enough to proceed.
Can I do one last thing before we go? Doc, do you think
Yeah.
that the machine is safe to touch?
With your gloves on, I'm sure it is. Oh, you mean without the gloves?
No, I mean that up close and personal kind of touching that I do.
Oh, that kind of touching.
Yes.
Well, I would not. I say everyone here died from the plague, and I am assuming they all touched the machine.
Sure.
Yeah, but in 7 days, well, 3 more days from now, it'll be perfectly safe to touch. The virus dies out in a week.
Oh. There's no like log of who has handled the machine or anything.
I do not believe there was. Was there?
We are
if
now
there-
at
even if there
45
was,
minutes in the
Oh,
camp.
Everyone who touched it is dead.
Is dead except Claire Foster.
Maybe.
Maybe.
So we should
Okay.
keep going. Yeah.
Fine. I don't want to touch anything anyway.
All right.
We
I'm
don't
gonna-
want you to touch anything anyway.
Let's go. I'm gonna go with Bali.
Kate gives Elijah a nasty look in the dark. All right, I'm going to let Bali lead right up until we get to the point that we're out of this clearing. And if he points out a path, then I'd like for us to find a way to hold him back and let somebody else take point, Mr. Burke.
Okay, when you guys get up to the north side of the camp, Bali pushes a branch of a relatively normal looking bush aside, and you see what looks probably more like an animal trail than anything else, but it definitely seems to be a bit of a clearing in the forest. And if you wanted to roll like a track roll, I could tell you if you see anything going in that direction.
Yeah. I don't think any of us are good at this.
Why? I'm missing. What are we trying to do here?
See if there's anything on the trail, any presumably human tracks, I think.
Yeah, he points out what looks like an animal trail that leads farther up the mountain. If you guys, anybody wants to roll a track roll, I can tell you if you can differentiate different tracks, perhaps that are non-quadruped and more bipedal animal. And
I trust him. Like if he says that's
Yeah,
where we
no,
need to go,
I
I'll go
trust
that
him
way.
too. I'm just wondering
Exactly.
if this is a good place to like kind of cover behind us. You know, like if nobody's really aware of where this is, then it might be good to, if we're going to choose to cover, then cover toward this area.
Yeah, straddle the trail instead of like walking right in the.
Yeah, and
all the other
leading
stuff's
up to it
Yeah.
just as best as we can.
Mhm.
let me know what you kids have in mind.
Yeah, I want to try to just cover us like walking towards this thing, to this part of the north end of it.
So you want to like Nancy Drew Hardy Boys this shit where you're like pulling like a branch behind you?
I was thinking like 101 Dalmatians when they cross the snow and then they get the tree branch behind them.
Yes. That's what
That's
yes.
my experience in covering
yes.
one's tracks.
All of those things are things that I would love to do.
Okay, well, just give me an idea of what you want to try. You're just trying to cover your tracks.
Yeah, leading up to this area.
Okay, then one of you, presumably the last person to go up,
Yeah.
if anybody has any type of tracking skill, make that track roll, and basically you're doing a reverse track. You are covering
Right.
your tracks.
Does anybody?
No, I think we're all at 10.
I'm an
Um,
indoors laboratory
course.
kind of person.
Of course, somebody could use a crit here.
Look, they're
man.
gonna be able to track us smell or something anyway. They're gonna know where we are.
I think
we
speed
should
is
just
of the
hurry.
essence.
Yeah,
I would rather go up fast and make tracks than slow and cover them.
I think I
Okay.
agree.
Okie dokie.
Okay.
All right.
That discussion We'll say it was another just a brief 5-minute discussion as you guys decided to not do that. So,
It didn't even take us 5 minutes in real time to have that discussion.
yeah, but you're moving around, you're looking.
Okay.
This is theater of the mind.
When we want
It's
to spend
also-
time doing something, we'll let you know, Greg. Okay, how's that?
Well, I like to do
I'm
this
confused on what we're doing.
as an incentive. So you guys are heading up the trail now. No chance or choice of making tracks or covering tracks behind you. It's best possible time at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. So as you're going up best possible time, Bali is pretty much sprinting. It's getting darker out now. About 25 minutes later, you see a huge clearing open up in front of you. And this is not a man-made clearing. This is a definite natural break, a leveling off of the summit or the slope of the mountain. There are high grasses about to the waist. Even through the grasses, though, without a track roll, you can see cuts of where it looks as if somebody has passed through. Multiple ones. They don't seem to be walking single file. There seems to be at least 3 or 4 distinct tracks going through this tall grass. Also, what you see is off to the left, a absolute shearing of the cliff face as it cuts down almost perfectly along the side. And to look at it, it seems a little too perfect, as it seems cut from cloth and not from nature's shears, as this is a line. This is not a jagged erosion. This is a straight point A to point B straight line. It's as if the cliff beyond it just ceased to exist. But there is a cliff there now, so for the theater of the mind, everyone, with the aid station behind you, as you walk out into this large field, maybe 300 yards across, high waist-tall grasses, and off to all of your lefts is this sheer cliff face. Off into the distance, over the 300 to 400 yards, you see a mirror of this sheared cliff face. And I'd like everyone to roll spot hiddens for me, please.
Somehow I'm finally succeeding during the finale.
There we go. So if you succeeded in that, and Dwight perhaps a little bit more than everybody else, through the 300-400 feet of the tall grassy field, there is a sheer cliff face with a small rise of dirt above it, like fallen debris. But about halfway up, maybe 15 feet from the floor where the grass is a perfect hexagon leading into the cliff face.
So are we looking over a gorge or something? I just want to make sure I understand.
Field in front of you, gorge off to your left.
And-
a cave.
And a cave straight ahead into a perfectly flat cliff face.
Okay.
And this is what I see.
Yep.
Well, I will point that out, that there's the hexagon cave that we've been looking for.
And the debris, does the debris kind of ramp up to the cave entrance, or is it just hanging there 15 feet in the open?
It doesn't go directly up to the cave entrance. The debris kind of rests about maybe 10 feet below that. And then there's a 10-foot sheer, completely smooth cliff face, and then the hexagon.
But we can see the tracks that are going straight toward where that hexagon is.
Yep. They
That
seem
was-
to be anyway. They're crossing through the tall grass.
Probably the whole Foster family.
How did they get up into the cave, though? That's what I'm missing.
Right, because it's what, 10 off?
Yep. Like there's a rise, kind of like a several small hills of debris, like a little debris field with a couple larger boulders and stuff, and those come to rest in a haphazard pattern about 10 feet below the sheer opening, the hexagon opening up the cliff face.
Maybe they I don't know.
With
This is
extreme
probably
roll,
too big.
can I find anything that would be, obvious to us?
I mean, they might have a ladder in there.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I mean, is there anything that they
If you got closer, you are on this side, and this is 300-400 yards away. You are able to identify the hexagon opening, but details that precise would require closer inspection.
Kate starts jogging across the clearing in one of the paths, not at full speed, but not walk in either.
Okay.
Does Bali seem excited? Does he seem nervous, indifferent at being here?
Why don't you roll a psychology check for me?
Because I have a 1%. Oh, no, I have 10. Joy.
May I also roll one?
Sure, if you're checking out him, sure.
That's a
Yay.
success.
He seems like he is sort of proud that he got you here.
He doesn't
Kate,
seem too worried.
All right.
Kate, as you're running through the grass on your way towards the far side, there's a rock or something, some type of obstruction in the grass that you didn't, take into consideration, and you kind of catch your feet for a second as you're through the grass, and as you catch your feet and start running again, the sound has changed to a pop, 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 as you run up and slide in front of the Calamity Jane as she is parked in the hangar in California. And you're looking around, and the hangar seems to be empty with just you and the freshly painted Calamity Jane with you.
I shake my head. This seems completely real to me.
Yep.
I turn around and look behind me, back toward where the others were.
When you turn around and look behind you, you see the freshly painted carriage of Calamity Jane looking at you.
Freshly painted, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Hello? Hello? Is there anybody here?
No answer.
I look at my watch. What time does it still show continuity with the time it was before?
It definitely doesn't show the same time as it showed in Borneo just a few beats before.
What time is it?
Midnight, early morning, it looks like.
Kate walks over slowly toward Calamity Jane. And as she gets close to where that new nose art has apparently just recently been painted, she kind of begins to run her hand along the side of the wing as it comes up close to the fuselage, just feeling for that hum that I get from her.
You feel it. She answers, but it's not the hum that you felt when you first started flying Calamity Jane. The one of eager acceptance between two freshly joined partners. You feel that hum of your better half, your yin and yang of the skies. And as you get closer and you're running your hand, you realize that there's something else on the nose beside the artwork of Calamity Jane, something else that seems to have been freshly painted.
I step up closer. What does it look like?
It seems to be somebody wrote something there.
What does it say?
When you get closer and closer and you realize that you should be able to read it, you can see the picture perfectly fine. It should stand out just as much in this light, but you end up having to get closer and closer and closer. And as you're maybe just an inch or two away from what has been painted there and written there, it says, "You have 10 minutes. And it says JP. And boom, you wake up and you're back running through the grass.
I stop immediately and turn around and jog a few steps back toward everyone else. All right, let's go. We've got no time. They are right behind us. Don't ask me how I know. Let's just go. Come on.
Yep.
All right. Last one's game.
With Bali.
Okay, as you all start running, Elijah, as you begin to run, you see something lying in the brush off to the side, and you realize it's Ruby.
He's gonna slow down. Just, yeah, friends. Am I seeing things again?
You all see her, but Elijah is the last, as narratively explained. The rest of you have run forward.
Well, I stop running.
That looks
Okay.
like her.
Yep.
I'll go over. She's laying on the grass. I'll run over because
Okay, on your way back, almost feet back into the foliage, you hear a great
pick her up. Let's get into the. I went to Vashka. Sorry. I was like, not today. I'll fight. We need to go. Can you carry her? Sawyer's like right next to her, right?
Yeah. He's dropped down on his knees.
All right.
If she's okay to move, certainly.
I can examine her inside. She look like anything's like spine broken, head broken, anything. She breathing.
She seems to be breathing.
Okay, she seems to be. Better to examine her under not gunfire. So we should.
Okay.
She looks up here. Okay, move. And I'm
As
picking,
you
I'm
all-
picking her up.
Elijah's gonna try to move her as delicately as possible.
Yeah, I'm gonna help because.
Okay, it's only one person can carry, so Elijah's going to be the best suited for this, just simply because of what Greta is carrying. In addition to,
Certainly.
he's not loaded down with his shotguns anymore. He's
I got one.
free. Yeah, I only got one, but so as you go down and pick her up in your arms with Greta assisting, as you're pulling her up, her eyes flicker open and her hand reaches up, just a skeletal hand with nails that are too thin, and she just touches Elijah's face and seems to cup it for a second as she looks up into it with tears that she shouldn't really have, being as dehydrated as she seems, that seem to come out of her eyes as she just sits there and stares into the face of Elijah Sawyer. Dwight, you are the first to get there behind Kate as you guys get to the wash, and you told me to tell you if you saw a place that looked like a good hold point, the debris field seems to be it, my friend.
What's the distance I think they're coming in at?
Distance, you're looking at a 200-300 yard field. If they're coming from the same way that you did, you'd be backed up against the mountain, but you would have 25 to 50 yards of play between you and the hexagonal tunnel.
All right, it's Granton. He's going to stop and position himself as quickly as possible.
Okay. So you all see Dwight stop and kind of unsling his stuff as he starts to get his rifle out and, place it up on one of the rocks. What are the rest of you doing?
All right. Running back to the cave as quickly as possible. And I'll shoot up Dwight with a little blitzschnell on the way into the cave.
Accepted.
Roll a pharmacy. I noticed how she didn't ask, but roll a pharmacy check for me.
Greta never asks. She just shoots people up.
I always ask before touching people. Don't understand this double standard.
Okay, so yeah, this is his second go around with Blitzschnell, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is Dwight's second because he got it in the car once.
Yeah,
Okay.
he did.
Right. So yeah, even through the haze of the morphine, as you are dangerously mixing drugs here.
This is exactly what Greta wants. See how things interact.
Right. This is way too interested in how this is going to play out. Okay, so she shoots you up, and Dwight, through that haze, you feel that exhilaration, that wide-eyed pupil pinprick as you all of a sudden feel faster than everybody else. You're set. I need to know it. I know that Elijah's running with Ruby, Sabella. You have Bali. We're going to say that the Kate, Sabella, and Greta can get to the hexagonal tunnel quickly. Let me know what you guys want
Yeah.
to do when you get
I mean,
there.
that's what I want to do. I'm going to assume that Elijah is going to want to be shooting. So if you'd like, I can take the kids.
You would be assuming correctly.
Oh,
so.
good. Great. So if I can find the best place of cover with the kids, I don't know if that's going to be in the cave. Maybe I could like stand on someone's shoulder. I know we don't know that area yet, but there should be one more person here.
When you guys get to the
Yeah, we're
cliff
moving
face,
that way.
right, when you
And
guys
I'm-
get to the cliff face, you realize that there are handholds that are set inside the
Okay.
cliff face that lead like a natural ladder up to the opening.
Is Ruby conscious?
No.
Do we think that the cave is going to give the best cover for the kids?
Yes.
Okay, then
I'm not
going.
gonna make you roll. Yep.
I'm going into the cave with the kids.
Okay.
And
And,
I'm-
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say I'm covering the two of them and
I'm
the
gonna-
kids from
gonna help.
behind.
Her get the kids in because Greta's decent strong. She's gonna just help lift them in.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Well, we can say that, like, let's say Sabella climbs up and kind of lays down belly wise into the cave floor and reaches down. You're able to push them up to her.
Yeah.
So you guys can get both people in there. As Elijah and
And
Dwight
then I
kind
will
of.
follow.
Okay. So who's all in the cave?
Elijah wants to make eye contact with Sabella when he's helping Ruby up into her hands, and it's that same frantic look that he gave you in the bookstore the first time he saw her had this issue. He doesn't have his walls up, and he's not trying to con you in any way. He looks scared. You you put her first. Understand me? You make sure she's safe.
I won't let anything happen to her.
I trust you.
Good.
Okay. So Greta, Sabella, Kate, where are you?
I kind of waiting for them to get up into the cave mouth, and then as they do, climbing up behind them.
Okay. You're able to get in there. And just as you climb inside the cave mouth, lights begin to appear along the ridge inside the foliage. You see what appear to be ambient organic torch fire inside, as it appears that there are at least 36 individual lights that are flickering just inside where you all came from in the tree line.
Elijah's going to look up at Kate and her looking out, seeing these torches, and he's going to give his very best sarcastic salute. Oh, Captain, my Captain. And he's going to turn his back. He's not going to go straight to Dwight. He's going to try to find his own place of cover.
He easily can. There's plenty of fallen, boulders and stuff here.
I smile at Katie. Just my best reassuring smile.
Good luck.
Okay,
And-
so I'm sorry, Allison, I keep interrupting you. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. And Kate smiles back, and but then is kind of moving past the others gingerly just to see what might be further down in this cave. I don't want to go too far, but I want to make sure that I'm between whatever might be back there and the rest of the group.
Okay, so Kate, you're leading the way into the tunnel just to kind of secure the area.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Kate, we're going to stay with this group for a second because what's outside is happening simultaneously. So from this point forward, what's going on outside is happening at the same time as what's going on inside. So Kate, as you progress down the tunnel, Hobbit, welcome to the party, pal. You're just in time. As Kate goes down through the tunnel, you realize that it looks almost like electrical light, but they're housed in very foreign globes just inside this. It opens after about 10 or 15 feet into another large hexagon. And in this hexagon, it's completely clean, completely clear. No, absolutely zero. It almost looks like a laboratory. There's no dirt, there's no rocks, there's no dust. And in the middle of the room, on a turntable of some kind, are two huge hexagons that are plated, and they seem to be spinning, just lazily spinning, these two plates. Plate, each one facing one another, and then there's space in between them as they just spin. And just off to the right, you see another hexagon room with a huge glass panel between this room and the next. It looks like some sort of observatory or a control room of some kind. And you see an African-American woman who's sitting there, incredibly gaunt, stage 3 of the Yellow Death, as she's sitting there and weakly turning knobs on what looks like this vast control panel. There are also two corpses of Paul and Evelyn Foster arrayed in the corner.
Is the glass separating the two of us?
There's an open door off to the side, so it would look like that room could seal itself off from this room, but currently it is not sealed. The door is not closed. But yes,
Okay.
the glass is between you and the other woman that you don't know. But she does not seem to have recognized you or noticed you.
Okay. I take a few more steps in toward the open door. Miss Foster? Are you Claire Foster?
You see the head kind of jerk up for a second as the fever-ridden eyes, the same eyes that you saw in Joseph Dietrich, look up at you, and you see them kind of look through you and back out and focus and back out. And again, you're reminded of that wobble that Dietrich had to him as he himself was in stage 3. And she looks and says, "That's me, Claire Foster." And she falls back to her task of turning these dials and knobs.
I walk right up. I walk through the door, right up close and down, kneeling down next to where she's sitting. Claire, my name's Kate. We're here to help you. We've got Ruby. She's going to be all right. What is this about? What are you doing?
As you walk in, Allison, Kate recognizes, you see Claire kind of gesture behind her. And as you walk in, you see a very detailed, very obvious map of the Earth. And you see one of those strangely globed lights, only smaller, flashing in Borneo, one in Bolivia, one in New York City, one somewhere in Africa, one somewhere in Southeast Asia, and several other points of the globe as you just roughly glance and see all of these lights that are illuminated, some flickering, and you do notice that some of the bulbs are not working or the lights themselves are out at a particular location. But she looks back at you and she says, "I have to get Ruby and I out of here. I have to close it."
Well, tell us how we can help, Claire. I'm here with a team. We can help you.
She just falls back into her work, and as she turns one of the dials in the next room with the two plates, it begins to spin faster.
I call back out down the tunnel to Sabella and Greta. And call them back.
Okay, Sabella and Greta, you may answer.
Are you telling us to come towards you, or just something's up in there? What's?
Yeah, I come on back. It's safe. And then I'm standing in the doorway, though, as they come. I want to make sure they don't get anywhere near that doorway and get close to being exposed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Bundle up the kids.
All right. Yeah. Get the kid. Go back there. I want to be having Ruby, so I can be giving her a medical exam while getting back there. Just
Cool.
get an idea.
Kate, while you're in the doorway, Claire looks at you and she says, "Give me 10 minutes." And let's cut back outside as Dwight, who has arrayed his weaponry and his implements of death along every conceivable space, positioning his gun nest, as Elijah has in turn channeled his inner chrysanthemum to, or perhaps not, perhaps he has channeled his inner Elijah Sawyer to make this stand with the soldier. The torchlight begins to come forward, and you see a red uniformed rider come out at the head, and he is wearing a gas mask of this design, and I'll pop it into Roll20 for you all. And as if he is whispering into your own ear, you hear, "Well, this didn't take quite as long as I thought it would."
Fuck you.
Dwight open fires.
Okay, roll your shot.
This is grand.
Okay, the shot comes and perfectly hits center mass. And as soon as it hits center mass, you see it wisp into red energy as it dissipates along the red uniform that the being known as Philip Lancaster is wearing.
I fired the horse.
Okay, roll me another shot.
Man, mythical fucking creatures. I blow them away, but apparently I don't hit them. Hard
Welcome to
success.
Cthulhu. You shoot the horse, and the same thing happens. And you see Lancaster swing off the horse expertly, drop down to the ground, and remove the biggest goddamn rifle you've ever seen from
Dodge.
the shoulder pack. As he has it resting on his shoulders. He begins to walk through the tall grass, and you see that the lights behind begin to advance as well.
I of course turn to Sawyer. We need to get the fuck out of here now. If my two shots, who I've two hard successes, did not work, we need to go now. I mean, that's his.
I'm not sure there's much I can do that you can't do.
Yeah.
I think you're
Dwight's
muted.
probably almost grabbing Elijah. We got to go now into the cave.
Are you leaving cover?
We have no choice. I mean, if he's advancing, is he advancing on us?
Oh, he is advancing. I want to know if you are leaving cover. And you guys are narratively described two separate spots.
Has he pulled his gun up, Jay?
His gun's resting on his shoulder as he
Okay,
walks
yeah.
forward.
Well, I'm leaving cover, and I'm if Sawyer and me are there, I'm gonna definitely. He has seen. I've missed both my shots are on target. They did no damage. It's time to go. I mean, we have to fall back.
Okay, as soon as you pull out and head over towards Elijah, you just are on your back. And you don't know why you're on your back, but you're as you're sitting there trying to get your breath, as you see the biggest goddamn hole that's ever entered your body is currently resting somewhere in your abdomen, as you've just been struck by the elephant gun of Philip Lancaster for 15 damage.
I can't crit that.
You can't crit it, no. Your action was to leave cover, which is not a dodge. So as you get hit and fly back and your gun kind of clatters to the ground, make a con check for me. You can crit this if you want.
I'm gonna crit it.
Okay. So somehow, some way, Dwight Burke is able to pull himself back up with blood pouring out of his stomach. As you pick up your weapon, what would you like to do, Dwight? And Elijah, please, what would you like to do as well?
Elijah is seeing this happen and hears Dwight freaking out. He knows he is woefully, woefully underpowered to fight this foe. His plan is to get over to the mouth of the cave and to climb up into it to offer some kind of slight smoke screen. Of his 2 dynamite sticks, Elijah's going to take the last one. He's not trying to throw it out at the people. He's just throwing it a few feet to the side to try to make some kind of big dust cloud, some kind of distraction, some kind of smoke screen, hopefully long enough to get him and Dwight up into the mouth of the cave. I'll use 1 crit to light and throw the dynamite out behind, in front of our cover, but behind us trying to flee.
Okay, so why don't you make a throw roll for me, and this roll will dictate where exactly you hit and to the best effect of how this is going to help you out.
I'm using one of my crits on that. Do you want me to still roll something?
Nope, not at all. So as you light and learning from your Mr. Burns, you are of one mind this time. So there isn't 18 people weren't telling you how to best throw this dynamite stick. As you are able to get it out and it lands perfectly in some of the silty sand debris as the field kind of peters out into the high grass. And for a moment, Lancaster, as he cracks open the gun and ejects the massive shell casing that's in there and reloads, he watches it for a second and says, well, now what is this? And boom, the explosion goes off and silt and sand and dirt and shit and everything is thrown into the air. And you immediately see, even though he doesn't kind of shrink from the explosion, you see Lancaster get completely obscured inside this and even winks out all of the lights. So you know that you have a very large coverage area with this blast. It looks like that you have your opening to get Dwight out of here.
Oh, yeah, I'm already sprinting.
Okay. So, Dwight, you feel Elijah creep under your arm as he grabs you and I'm assuming helps you, soldier style towards the wall at the side. As you guys are both moving over there and you make it to the wall as just seconds later as the dust is still going through the air, both of you roll spot hiddens for me, please.
I have failed every spot hidden roll all season, and then tonight I am rocking them. I have not missed one.
Okay. So both of you kind of hit the wall.
Hard success.
Yeah, both of you kind of hit the wall. Dwight, you're just bleeding profusely, but you're still upright. You are Dwight Burke. You are not dropping, not yet. And as you've got your gun at the ready, you guys turn and you're starting to climb up into the tunnel, and this loping figure comes out as it's running on all fours and it busts out through the dust and launches towards the two of you. What would you like to do? I'm going to give each of you a chance to have a reaction on this thing. But it looks almost more animal than man.
What can I shoot?
You've got your sniper rifle out, so I will allow a shot with that. Or if you want to try to pull out the 1911 and give it a shot with the handgun, you can do that as well.
I'll take the Grand. It's barreling toward us.
Yep.
Extreme.
Okay, so in absolute precision, just even with the shot in his side, the gun comes up in almost a hip fire with a sniper rifle. Boom! The creature gets just absolutely taken from the air. And as it's pulled forcefully back down with a combination of gravity and Burke, it crashes down, slides right in front of you. And as it comes to a stop, both of you look down into the face of Franklin Watson. Now let's cut back inside as you all have heard the shots going off. You all have heard the shots going off, and you realize that there is a at least partially engaged firefight, and then you hear the rocking explosion that has become very, very familiar to you all as that of dynamite. And anyone that knew, excuse you, Summer, anybody that knew Elijah knows that was his second. So At this point, you have a few minutes until Claire can get this done. I need to know what everyone in here is doing. There can be an assist with Claire. However, you have to go into the room with Claire.
Oh my goodness. So everyone is, it's just still the three of us and the kids and Claire, or are Dwight and Elijah with us too?
They're at the base of, they have not made it into the tunnel yet.
They haven't made it into the tunnel
They
yet.
they still have cover, but they turned and shot at the creature that was coming towards them, and that's where we're cutting back to you guys as we kind of rush back up the time. Yep.
Yeah.
I think Kate is going to run back out to the entrance of where the tunnel is. Well, I'm with you, but I think maybe the serpent gun is the thing that is maybe the only thing we've got that can stop this dude.
Can I shoot
Maybe.
her up with some blitz still as she runs by? Be like, you might need this.
Bam.
Just as she walks by. Just not even as. Just...
Roll a dex check because Kate is moving.
Okay. No.
You miss.
Damn it.
She's Kate O'Callahan, America's flying sweetheart. She is gone.
It's like, this is my town. Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay. Have fun.
Sabella, Greta, what would you guys like to do?
I'll ask Claire, like, just what can we do? What do we need to prepare to be able to get out of here?
What needs to be done?
Okay, you're going into the room with Claire?
No, I said I was asking Claire.
Yeah.
Claire is fallen over her work, and to kind of talk to her, you need to be in the room with her. Are you yelling from the door and hoping to?
That is what I was
She
doing.
doesn't. Okay. Then she doesn't pay attention to you.
Ugh. Cool. I mean,
I'm just gonna get a drink. Real
Greta!
quick.
I know. I want to help with the people who've been emaciated and shit. There's so much medical attention that needs to happen right now, but I'm also mechanically inclined. Greta will very, very briefly, like, she's all business right now. She's like, Ruby's not dead. That's good. Molly's fine. You're fine. She's gonna walk in. She's got mask on. She's prepared. She's like, what needs to be done to help? How can we expedite this?
She indicates a series of levers, and I need you to roll a. Just give me a spot hidden.
Oh, spot hidden.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I don't. It's a bunch of levers.
Right. She points to them, and then she indicates the map behind. And for the first time, you realize that you've never been in this room, but you realize after she indicates it that there are numbers along a Y and an X axis on the edge of this large map.
Okay.
I'll go in with Greta. I mean,
Okay, so you're
you
both
gotta
in the
do
room.
something.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, good. Okay, so you're both in the room.
Yeah.
Sabella, no, I'm not saying that, but Sabella, if you want to roll a spot hidden, you can do this as well.
Oh, okay. I'll try. Oh.
Ooh!
A hard success.
Oh yeah.
What?
About there!
Ladies and gentlemen, the Olympians, they always come to play. And when it's the end of anything, the Olympians start rolling their asses off. Okay. So Sabella, Greta stops for a second, and as Greta's looking back and forth, maybe it's the English, which surprisingly everything is in English. It's confusing in the translation, and you realize that there are numbers on the Y and X axis, and that the levers that Claire's indicated are in correlation with that. And she's asking you to pick a destination.
Where are our options?
Fucking York.
New York
New York.
City.
Yeah.
I like New York City.
Okay, so you quickly realize that this number X, this number Y, and you realize it's a precise dial, so it takes a lot of torque to move it. And as you're working the X and Greta is working the Y, we're going to cut back to Kate. Kate, you get to the edge and slide just as you see this creature come loping forward, and you see Dwight take a hip shot and takes it directly out of the air as it slides in front. And as it slides in front, its legs very similar to that of a great cat, loping, sleek, but the face and everything hasn't distended enough until you do realize, and you are gifted with the sight of a twisted Franklin Watson.
Now I'm still up in the entrance to the cave, so I'm kind of looking down at all this, right?
Yep. Down, and they're directly below you. You know, you could reach down and probably touch them because they're 10 feet down. They each stand about 6 feet tall. So, you know, you could grab them if you want, but you see Franklin slide up to a stop as his momentum and gravity and Burke's shot lays him to rest.
And not moving. Okay, what about Lancaster and any others? What can I see?
You see a huge field of fog, dirt, debris, and shit floating about 25 yards away, and you quickly deduce that this was probably put there by a dynamite stick going off. An expertly placed dynamite stick, I might add.
All right, Kate is sort of kneeling down in the entrance, covering the others as they come up with the serpent gun.
Okay, so here's what happens. As Greta and Sabella are leaning over these two dials, pushing them into place, both of you roll dex checks for me, please.
Dex? I thought you said they were like really heavy.
Precision.
I like Dex better.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll use Dex then.
Oh God.
I'm super strong. I'm like.
I will let you know that you can spend 16 luck if you'd like to make that a success, but that's up to you. I'm just here to point out the rules and progress the story as I see fit. As you guys are working, Kate, you're standing there and kneeling, and you see Dwight being lifted up by Elijah as Dwight is in a bad way. You now notice just how wounded he is by this massive shot that is torn into him. And even over the quick exchange of when that shot went off, you can already tell that his face is whiter. It's paler than when you had last seen him. I need you to roll a strength check because he is dead weight at this point. But Dwight, you can roll a strength check. I'm going to need a harder extreme, though.
Boy, you are full of every kind of drug. Get your ass up there.
Yeah, I got nothing on that strength check.
Okay, so as you're lifting up, Dwight kind of slips back down, and he comes to rest at the bottom of the base. And as you know, Elijah keeps him from hurting himself further. He's able to catch him, and at this point, you see striding through the dust is the red uniformed visage of Philip Lancaster. And I'm going to sneeze. Hold on.
No, not allowed.
It's really
Hashtag
dusty,
pro
of
streamer.
course, Lancaster sneezing.
No, I'm not going to do it. Okay, all right. Okay, so he's walking through there. I need to know what the three of you collectively want to do here.
Oh, I want to shoot him. I want to shoot him so bad. I've been wanting to shoot him for a long, long time.
Okay, Kate, take a shot.
You crits, man.
Crit number 1.
Okay, you're firing a crit at Lancaster?
At his fucking head. Sorry.
Okay. As the shot rockets off, it fires through the air, and just before it hits the gas mask, you see him Vader style raise a hand and takes it directly into his palm. You see him pull it back for a second as he shakes it, and you see residual red sparks kind of float off of it, and they kind of settle in around his red uniform as he looks up at the three of you that are trying to escape and shooting at him, and he says, "Americans, always so inconsiderate. You were meant to support your king and country. You've betrayed us." And he keeps walking forward, and you see all of these torches come out of the mist now as the 2 to 3 dozen lieutenants of Philip Lancaster are beginning to peel from the fog created by Elijah Sawyer. What would you like to do?
God, I hate this guy so much.
Who's first?
Yeah.
Are we
Elijah?
doing initiative?
I'm going to give you all 1 round because he was monologuing. So
Elijah, go first.
Caught monologuing. Ah. God damn it. Elijah's going to use another crit to do his best to get Dwight up and moving up into the cave.
Okay,
helping however he can.
So with the crit, you're able to basically shot put Dwight up so Dwight can grab hold and pull himself up in. Dwight, you're now sitting on the lip with your gun as
Dwight
Elijah...
will use a crit to pull Elijah up.
Okay, so in absolute Band of Brothers fashion, it's that scene at the bridge where one guy throws him up, the other guy lands and spins around and pulls the other guy back up. You see that, Kate, as they have returned to either side of you, he is raising the elephant gun.
I'm going to fan the hammer at the debris that's at the bottom of the cliff face as much as I can and just try to blow up at rocks and shit.
Okay. You can roll it. Or if you have a crit, you can use it. It's totally up to you.
I'll roll it. How many?
I'll give you 3 because you're just kind of errantly just firing down in and trying to hit like big things to create puffs of whatever. Nice.
1 extreme, 2 fails.
Okay, so the first shot goes off and splinters the boulder that Dwight had been hiding behind and sends the debris into the air. It obscures the lieutenants, but it seems that Philip Lancaster was just off to the side of it. And as some of the pebbles kind of smack, and you actually see one forcefully hit the glass of the gas mask and shatter, he doesn't react at all as he's just striding forward. And at this point, you realize that he is lifting off the ground as first 1 foot goes into the air, then a second, and then a third as he is walking on some type of staircase that only Philip Lancaster can see. And he begins to lift the massive gun up and point it towards Kate O'Callahan.
Dodge?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, so Elijah and Dwight, what would you guys like to do?
Elijah was just sprinting down the mouth of the cave, yelling something along the lines of, "By the way, we are not fleeing. This is a tactical retreat. This is a good idea."
Can Dwight somehow try to push using a crit to get Kate out of the way? Like he sees the gun coming at her. Can he dodge with a crit?
He's on the ground, so you see that
he's just going to literally bowl himself. He's already fucked. So he's going to bowl himself towards Kate to dodge crit.
He's not.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to let you do this.
That's what he does.
Okay. I applaud it. As Dwight gets struck for 13 damage as he knocks Kate to the side. Dwight, where are you, bud? Okay, so Dwight gets shot.
I'm still alive. I'm still kicking.
Dwight gets shot and blasted. And Kate, you see what would have been a shot meant for you as Dwight knocks you free.
One.
Knocks you free, and he slides down as you realize that the shot that went into him, you actually felt it hit the wall behind you as it went through whatever it went through on Dwight and splattered against the wall, sending shards into your back. You now have complete, because there's no con roll for this. He's at 1 hit point. You have to carry him back if you want to.
Elijah's certainly not screaming when the big bullet explodes right next to him.
So 1 more with Kate, and then we're going to cut back to the inside.
It's just the 2 of us at this point, yes?
Yep.
How far are we from the mouth of the cave?
You are right at the mouth. You're like within 5 feet from the lip of it.
God damn it. All right. I'm going to use that second crit to get Dwight out of there and back in the tunnel.
Okay, so you kind of grab him around the back of the neck and pull his shirt as he's just completely limp, being drugged back, hands still on his weapon, somehow holding on to the rifle. As you're pulling back, firing the serpent gun through the exterior, just hoping to get some type of covering fire. Kate, you pull what looks like the corpse of Dwight Burke back into the room just as Greta and Sabella get where they think the lineup is for what Claire needs, and the center room begins to as the gate is spinning faster and faster and faster.
Greg,
Yeah,
can I still use that 16 luck?
sure.
I've had to do the maths.
You want to make sure you weren't below 30? Yeah. Okay, so yes, you used it.
Okay.
You got it locked in.
Okay.
Claire looks at all of you and sees that Ruby is with you, and she seems to focus for a second. And she hears, and you all hear, laughter coming down the hall as something has discovered the blood trail of Dwight Burke. And she points into the room with the spinning area, and she says, "I'll set it off. Go." And she looks at Ruby, and for a moment, Ruby looks at her, and for the first time, Claire hits eyes or locks eyes with Elijah Sawyer, and she looks and smiles as if she knows him, and she nods and looks at Ruby, and Ruby nods. What are the rest of you going to do?
I'm gonna get the fuck out of here.
What she said.
Yeah,
I'm gonna die.
I'm
Yeah.
pulling Dwight into the room.
Is it
Okay.
ready to go like right now? Because I'm like pulling out. I see Dwight like that. I'm like grabbing Bolly and Ruby. I'm like, all right, pulling out bandages with one hand. I'm like,
Elijah will take Ruby.
You guys
Okay.
all huddle up into the room, and at the last second, with perhaps the last of her
already
energy,
gassing him up.
you see Claire kick something towards you all, and a 2 foot by 2 foot cube clatters down into the area and comes to rest at your feet. And she
Grab it.
looks and she smiles, and you see her eyes roll up in her head as she starts to fight with whatever's happening to her. And Kate, you've seen this before. This was what happened right when Dietrich passed, and you see her stagger, and the world around you is starting to hit with that purple hue, and you see Lancaster walk into the room, the reflection of the purple in the shattered eye mask of the gas mask that he's wearing, and you see him pull off the gas mask, and he looks and he starts talking, but you cannot hear what he's saying as he raises
read
the
his
elephant
lips?
gun. You can try, sure. He
I'd love to
raises
try
What are you trying?
to read his lips to see what that son of a bitch is saying.
Cool. Yeah, I'm blowing a kiss.
He takes a shot, and you see the glass that marks the control room from the observation deck shatter, and you see Claire spin as she gets hit by glass, the shot, or something, and you see her hand reach forward, hit a button, and at the same time move the X that was ever so perfectly placed down one. And as she
Can I-
slides, everybody spins,
Where would
And
that
you-
put us?
disappear.
I was really good with the thing. Can I determine where that would put us? Like,
Sure.
Yeah.
The last thought that goes through Greta's head is, that's nowhere.
Okay,
And
that's
you
great.
disappear. Olympians, the next thing you realize is this. You are floating in a universe of purple jello. And as you look at one another, you're slowly starting to spread apart. And that is where we are going to end this season of Pulp Cthulhu's Project Athena. Oh, wait a minute. That's not exactly where we're going to end. No, it's not. Right. There was one more thing. As the purple embrace seeps around all of you and you begin to fade away, we cut 6 months later to Jack as he walks down the street in New York, frantic. he seems thinner than what you remember him. And as he's standing there, two figures walk up. An older man in his 50s, an older woman in her 50s. And when he sees them, he says, "Oh my God, thank God. I think I know where they are." And that's where we'll pick up next week when you get to meet the first two Olympians. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Project Athena, Pulp Cthulhu, these wonderful people that you see all around you have put 24 plus hours into this show, and 2 or 3 weeks in addition in the chat in between shows. They are the best people I know. Let's give them all the love that you possibly can. Allison, what'd you think?
Unexpected. I'll give it that. I was so looking forward to just hanging around in New York for a week or two, just, I don't know. Well, as always, amazing job, Greg. And cast, I love you so very much. And until
I love that.
then,
Greg, great job. The rest of you, I love you so much. But
well,
Greg, thumbs up.
I until next time, you can find me on Twitter, slowly fading into non-existence, at Allison Robinson with 2 L's and a Y. Catch me on the God's Fall podcast, Wander Quest, new episodes coming out weekly now. Big revelations happening if you're following along there. Buckle up. It's about to get wild. See you next time, everybody.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Lauren, I know that you really probably don't have anything to say, but if you can think of something, what'd you think of tonight? And, well, I'm not sure where you are right now, but it started off 1933.
I have so many feelings right now, Greg. I have so many of them. But I love all you. That includes you, Greg. It's the broader you. So you got in there, I guess. I'm so excited to see what happens next. God damn it. Just want to go hang in my bookstore a bit. I'm sure it's fine. Yep, I'm Lauren. I'm That Salty Ginger on Twitter. I DM on Encounter Roleplay tomorrow at 1 p.m. EST, some D&D 5e. And then on Tuesdays, I'm on 6 and 20 Metropolis at 8 p.m. EST on Johnny's channel, Videos for Cowboy, where we're kind of superheroes, legends. It's a fun new RPG system. You should come check it out while my head explodes from this.
Great. Speaking about things exploding, Steve. How's Dwight doing?
You did it to me. I sent you a message. I said, you're going to try to kill me tonight. I saw it coming.
I did not try.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it coming. I had a blast. Oh, what? Yeah. Well, I had a blast. I mean, what a great story. That's the way it should end. Everything was amazing. I can't wait to see what happens. I love everybody. I think I'm going to start doing a Twitch. I'm Big Pig 500 on Twitch. I'm going to start a channel for video games. I'm going to maybe take requests on what I should buy and play. I think that would be a good way to do things. So follow everybody. They're awesome. I love everybody. And thanks to Summer for the 2 crits. Thank you, and have a great evening, everyone. See you in 2 weeks, or when we play next.
Yep. Absolutely, brother. Well said. Strider, Elijah. He had some moments tonight, my friend. What'd you think?
Not actually too worried, because fading away into the ether of purple jelly is what Strider Heap does every time he's not streaming. So I'm sure Elijah will be fine. I've been stuck in the eternal DM seat for over a decade, so it's so much fun to come and be a player for Greg, and to actually be able to experience and not everything and not know what's happening. It is fantastic, and I just pray that I get the chance to pay Greg back for all of this confusion and adrenaline, heart palpitation inducing drama he is a maestro of creating. Thank you to Summer for the crits. Elijah's getting out of here with full health and almost full sanity again. Thank you to Thor for the other one. The Norse gods are looking over me. I will be here again and doing the Elijah Sawyer thing, barely sneaking, finagling his way out of certain doom.
Nice, brother. And I hope to sit in a player chair with you sometime soon, man, and you give me an 11 on the pucker factor. I live for those moments as well. Lindy, Greta, it was a triage center and she got shot. What the fuck happened tonight?
By a stupid trap. And I knew it. I'm like, everyone in that tent's dead. It had to have been something stupid rigged up, and it was. It was. But, you know, she's fine. I think that's the first injury she's taken. So, might as well be something dumb, like her curiosity getting the best of her. Because, you know, this was like Candyland for her, for the most part, until the very end there. I have so many people to medically tend to, Greg. How dare you? I'm just...
That's what I do. That's my thing.
I'm not happy with you right now, which is very rare for me. I've never said that before, I don't think. But, you know, this is what happens when I'm a doctor and I can't heal people, so... I will be in Japan for the next 2 weeks. I will be back on the 4th, where hopefully I can do my doctor thing and we're not oozing into the ether. But yeah, I had super fun. In actuality, this was amazing. I'm pretty sure my neighbors thought I was dying from the amount of screaming that I was doing. But you can find me online at LaughLoveLindy. I'm on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all that fun stuff. Normally I am streaming D&D, video games, and cosplay stuff, but I'm on a little hiatus till beginning of March because I'm on my honeymoon. You can also find me on the Tomes and Tentacles podcast on Tuesdays with this lovely gentleman here who is my fellow player in that, and normally on Wednesdays for Pulp Cthulhu and kind of roleplay, but not the next 2 Wednesdays. So, you know, just a little bit in the future.
Absolutely, absolutely. Please check and follow all these people and find their projects, because if you haven't guessed it yet, they're fantastic on and off screen. I love them all to death. These Olympians will be off next week. As Lindy mentioned, she's on her honeymoon, and we don't want to go anywhere without the doctor because they're going to need the doctor, and they're floating in purple shit right now.
Because everyone's dying!
But you may join us next Sunday from 7 to 9 as Kienna and Donathan Fry take on the roles of the 2 original Olympians formed during the Great War in 1915. They are being brought back. They are a married couple, and they are being brought in to save these people that you see.
Oh, that is awesome.
I love this so much already. You don't know how hard I'm going to try to watch this at like 3 a.m.
Yes.
So please follow us for a very special one-shot that deals a lot with the history of the Olympians and Project Athena, and also with 2 of the founding members that may or may not have something to do with the future of Project Athena. But until then, we're going to be here. It's 1933. Please take care of 2018, and we'll see you soon. Have a great one, guys.
I'm gonna fuck that Lancaster up.